Today, we're going to learn the easiest drape that you can master in all of 5 minutes. Grab your sari and your underskirt and a crop top and let's get started. For those of you new to my channel, I've been draping saris since I was 5 years old, even though I wasn't allowed to wear them out back then. And I've shown so many different drapes on my channel, but this is the most basic one that you can master really quickly. Well, you need a sari, and I would recommend something that is super lightweight. This is a satin silk sari from Bhuva.com, and these are probably the easiest saris to drape. They make great bridesmaid saris and are super easy to handle. You're also going to want a crop top. If you want to show less skin, you can definitely make this longer, as long as there's enough space for you to be able to tuck it in to your underskirt. Any skirt with a drawstring waist will do. Whatever undergarment you use, whether that is tights with a drawstring or a sari silhouette, make sure it has a really strong drawstring and an elastic as a barrier between your skin and the drawstring, so you can tie it really tight and everything will stay put. So you're gonna need your sari, grab your sari, and have a few pins, safety pins handy. So the average sari is 5.4 meters or 6 yards, and that's about how much most women need in order to get the drape right. This one is a little bit longer. It's, I think, 6.3 meters. You'll see a lot of saris, if the blouse isn't cut off, it will be about 6.3 meters. And so I always keep the blouse on. You wanna take one end, you wanna tuck it in to your underskirt. You can start back here. You can also start as much as you want up here. I usually just tuck it in here. And you wanna make sure that it lightly grazes the floor. This is going to be the inner layer, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just gonna eyeball it and then tuck this in. When you tuck this in, you don't wanna just like scrunch it and tuck it in. You wanna make sure it's flat so that you don't get any bulges here. And this is where tying this drawstring becomes really important, because if you don't do that, it's gonna fall out and then you're not gonna feel comfortable. Tuck it in nice and flat. And then turn and tuck as you go, repeating up until you get to your right hand side. And you might be thinking, is this skirt really gonna keep this entire sari together? And the answer is yes. If you're wearing the right undergarment, you are going to tuck it in, you're going to drape the sari, and you're gonna feel just as comfortable as you would in any piece of clothing. Once you get to around about your belly button, you wanna let the sari go and get to the other end. And so you're holding the other end in front of you, and you're gonna take this, bring it around to the back, and guide the sari. So you wanna put the pallu over your shoulder. You wanna make sure it hits the back of your knee, around about. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna gather all of the fabric and place it over your left shoulder. You wanna take the edge that's closest to you and pull it tight, bring it around your body and bring it in front. That's gonna be the length of your pallu, and you're going to bring this in front. Remember at the beginning, you tucked in the sari here around your belly button? Well, you would have now formed a loop, and this is how much you have to pleat. So before I start pleating, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this edge tight, hold it here on my right thigh, and add a pin. So this pin, you wanna make sure you grab all of the fabric. So this layer, the bottom layer, as well as your skirt, and just pin it in, making sure not to prick your leg. So once you pin this, you have this loop, and we're gonna start pleating. Now pleating is very easy. You're gonna take your hand, hold it with the 3 fingers and the thumb, bring the sari up to here, guide the fabric between the pinky and the thumb. We have a video just on this part, so if you want to check that out, you can. Once you've pleated all the fabric, if there's any fabric left here, don't worry about it. If you can't take another pleat, that's not a problem. We'll take care of that later. What you're gonna do is you're gonna let go and you're gonna have your pleat. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna stagger the pleats ever so slightly. This is where you get into pro level draping. So this is a very tiny little step that you can do to really up your drape game and look like the pros. Okay, so once I've staggered it ever so slightly, you wanna take your safety pin and pin it. So you're taking it all the way to your skirt and then pinning it. And that way, when you go to tuck it in, it's not gonna move. You can step on it, nothing's gonna come undone. And then if you have a little bit of fabric here like this, what you wanna do is just untuck this part right here, bring it back here so that this part remains nice and neat. So you don't want it to stay like that. That'll look very clumsy. So what you wanna do is just untuck anything that you tucked here, smooth it back, but then fold it forward. And this will allow this pleat not to open up. And then just tuck it in so it looks nice and neat. Don't worry about this because this is going to be covered by your pallu. So the bottom of your drape is done. You're gonna pull this nice and tight over your chest. You wanna add a safety pin here, or you can even add it down here. It's totally up to you. If you don't wanna hold these pleats, what you can do is just let your sari fall. What I do when I absolutely need both of my hands is I will take up the pallu and just do that. But if you feel like you won't be able to manage that during the event, what you can do is just just gather, make it as nice and neat as possible, and pin it either to your skirt or to your top. And that's it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below. If you found this useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more drape videos.